All right, so today we are going to add more layers to your vision. We're going to talk about the 2 to 10 year long-term goals that connect your today to your someday, to your legacy. And before we dive into how to set long-term goals, I need to talk about why most people don't. Most people never really reach that far into the future. They don't dream 10 years out, and they certainly don't plan 5 years out. They just exist, day to day, week to week, maybe month to month, if they're really organized. There are two main reasons this happens, two traps, if you will, that people fall into. And if you can avoid these two traps, you've already gotten way ahead of most adults. The first trap is being held back by your past. A lot of adults cut you guys short and think, oh, you guys don't have pasts to be held back by. I know that's not true. A lot of crap happens when you're a kid, when you're a teen. You go through stuff, and you've never been able, or never had to go through that kind of stuff before. So you don't know what to do, and you don't know how to get past it. But these are your losses, your mistakes, your failures, the opportunities you missed, and the things you wished you would have done differently. I already messed up. I'm already behind. I should have started earlier. This opportunity is gone. Pretty much everybody has regrets to some extent. Okay, most people have things that they wish they could go back and do differently. Oh my God. But if you're constantly looking backward, replaying your failures, beating yourself up over past mistakes, and wishing you could redo yesterday, you won't move forward. It's like if you were to try to drive a car using only the rear view mirrors. What's going to happen?
Unless you're tomato, you're going to crash.
Right. You're probably going to crash. You're definitely going to miss a turn. You're definitely not going to get where you're going. Right? You're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be, probably in a ditch. Philippians 3:13 and 14 tells us that forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Paul isn't saying that your past doesn't matter anymore. It does. God uses our past to build us, to build who we are, right? But he's saying not to let it trap you. Don't let it hold you captive. Don't let yesterday steal your tomorrow. Learn from it. Forgive yourself and forgive others, and let God redeem it. And then let it go so you can press forward. Holding on to regret pulls you backwards. The second trap is getting stuck in the routine of the present. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my routines. They keep me grounded, they help me stay focused. As a person with really bad ADHD, I'm all over the place without my routines. They help my anxiety. But letting yourself suffer from that tunnel vision.
Oh no, my face is cold.
I can only see right in front of me if I do that, right? Remember the tunnel vision from last week. That's going to hold you back. Being so focused on just what's right in front of you that you never look up and ask, where am I actually going? That's a problem. This is the trap of just reacting to your life. Wake up, go to school, do homework, go to practice, scroll your phone, go to bed, repeat. You're always busy. You're always doing something. You're moving, but you're not actually getting anywhere. You're just maintaining. And if we're honest, this is a default mode for most people. It is so easy to get stuck in reactive mode because today is now. Today is happening. It's right in front of us. It's easy to just react to what's right in front of us. However, if you stay in that, dealing with whatever's right in front of you, putting out fires, keeping up with the routine of current life, that it's so easy to do that you will forget to be intentional with your time. All right, but if you want to get somewhere new, you have to travel a road you've never been down, right? Being stuck in the routine of the present pulls you down. So the solution, how do you avoid these traps? How do you break free from the regret of the past? And how do you prevent being held down by the routine of the present? The answer is this. You make sure that at all times, the greatest pull on your life is the pull of your future. You see, when you have plenty of powerful, well-designed, God-centered goals for your future, goals that excite you, goals that matter, goals that are connected to your purpose. Those goals become like a magnet and they pull you forward. They'll pull you through the hard stuff. It's much easier to survive a really hard winter when you know that spring is right around the corner, right? It is so much easier to push through something that's difficult when you can see the breakthrough on the other side. Your long-term goals give you something almost tangible to look forward to, something to work toward, something bigger than today's problems. So when the past tries to hold you back with guilt and regret, your future pulls you forward with hope and purpose. And when the present tries to trap you and pull you down in routine, your future reminds you that today's steps matter and are actually leading towards something more. That's why long-term goals are so important. They're not just about planning, they're about creating a vision that's strong enough to pull you through anything. So let's define exactly what we're talking about today. Long-term goals are the goals that take more than 2 years, up to even sometimes more than 10 years, but for simplicity, I call it 2+ years or 2 to 10 years. These are the big milestones. Do what? These are the big milestones of your life, okay? Things like completing college or a trade school, right? Buying your first car or even your home. Some of you could do that in the next 10 years. Build a specific skill to an expert level. Complete a major physical challenge, like a marathon or an Ironman. That kind of training usually takes quite a few years. Save a specific amount of money. Go on a mission trip overseas. Notice that these are not things that you can knock out in a week or even a few months. These require sustained effort, consistency, patience, endurance, and they contain many smaller, short, and medium-term goals in order to achieve them. A great long-term goal is big enough to stretch you, but clear enough to feel attainable, close enough to feel real, but far enough to require real growth. Remember last week when we talked about legacy goals? Those are the things you want to accomplish from retirement through the rest of your life, and they often outlive you. Long-term goals are the pillars that raise you from where you are into that legacy. Remember our example about being remembered as someone who always pointed people to Jesus. So a long-term goal for that could be serving in 5 international mission trips by the age of 30. A medium-term goal for that could be go on my first mission trip within 2 years. A short-term goal could be start a fundraiser this quarter to fund my first mission trip. And today, right now, today you could feed that short-term goal by researching different mission organizations, right? See how it all connects. Your legacy is built one long-term goal at a time, and your long-term goals are built by the smaller ones. The power of compound growth is where this gets really interesting. Compound growth means that the work you do today doesn't just pay off for you today. It pays off more tomorrow, and more the next day, and even more the next day. It builds on itself. If you think about it, if you read for 20 minutes every day, in 1 year you will have read 121 hours. In 5 years, over 600 hours. But that's not just 5 times that result, because think about it, your speed, your comprehension, your vocabulary, and your knowledge will compound over time. Which means in that same 20 minutes per day, in that 5th year, you are actually reading more, understanding more, and making more progress in that 20 minutes than 20 minutes did the first year. Does that make sense? And if you work out 4 days a week for a year, you'll see results. But after 5 years of getting stronger and stronger, you won't just be 5 times stronger. You will be substantially more than that because of compound results. And after 10 years, you could be the top 1% of your age group. Don't know why I just got a phone call. All right, so basically that shows that small, consistent actions over long periods of time is what creates the massive results. That's the power of long-term. because that long-term thinking opens up all the short-term milestones.
Why?
I'm getting a call on Gmail.
What?
Do not disturb. Okay. Yeah, anyway, the long-term thinking opens up the short terms that you need in order to take action on, in order to unlock those long-term potentials, right? So we all understand what long-term goals are and what they're for. Now there's something really interesting about how humans look at time. I know I say humans like I'm not one, but bear with me. Sometimes I don't feel like one. We're not bad at dreaming per se, and we're not inherently bad at planning, though some of us are. But we're not great at estimating growth over different time spans. And it's not because we're unrealistic, it's just that our brains don't naturally think in terms of compound growth, like I was just talking about. We think in straight lines when real growth happens to curve upward. Okay? So we tend to think about reading 120 hours in a year, right? We think, okay, well, we're reading. That's how we'll progress, right? When real growth is more like that, because it builds on itself. So we wake up on Monday thinking, today I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna finish cleaning my room, I'm gonna check off that to-do list, I'm gonna learn something new and spend quality time with God. Well, Matthew Kelly, a big name in personal development and time management, says most people overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a month. So by bedtime, you're thinking, well, that didn't go as planned, because your checklist is maybe a third of the way done. Have you ever written out a big to-do list for a day, and then at night you're like, oh.
Only 2 things done.
Only 2 things. Why in the world? How? Oh. Well, it's not technically your fault, and I think we've all been there, or we will all eventually get there. It's not immaturity, it's just being human. Short-term achievement is vulnerable to interruptions, mood changes, energy levels, and unexpected hiccups that we don't think about when we're in that planning mode, when we're writing our list, assuming, well, this only takes an hour, and this only takes 30 minutes, and this only takes 20 minutes, so I'm sure I can get all of that done within 2 hours. Math adds up. But when you look back on a whole month, 30 days of steady effort in one goal, you realize you actually did grow much more than you thought you would, because little by little it adds up. Now we can expand the lens, and it's still true. Bill Gates likes to say that we overestimate what change will occur in the next year, but we greatly underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10 years. It's not that we think we can fix everything in a year, but nothing in 10. It's that our brains struggle to grasp what compounding really does over time. Okay, short-term thinking is linear. That's this one right here, just straight with the time, right? If I do X, I'll get Y. But long-term growth is exponential. So each time you go over, you go up that much more and more and more. In the short term, growth feels slow. That's normal. Results feel small. Effort can feel bigger than the outcome. But if you stick with it, the long-term effect is that skills will stack. Discipline becomes habit and therefore easier. Relationships deepen, knowledge opens to new opportunities, faith matures, and reputation builds. Growth multiplies through knowledge, consistency, relationships, and experience. So what feels small today becomes powerful over years. So what you accomplish in one decade often sets you up to accomplish so much more in the next decade, because by then you have experience, credibility, systems, and momentum. So here's a helpful way to think about your 10-year goals in relation to your legacy. It's something I like to call the 10 to 25% rule, but for you guys it'll mostly be a 10% rule. When you're filling in your 10-year row, don't ask, how do I finish this whole legacy dream? Instead ask, if my legacy goal is 100%, what would 10 to 25% of it look like? Probably closer to the 10% for y'all, because God willing, you guys have a lot of years left to make that legacy goal happen. For example, one of my legacy goals was to become the oldest female Ironman finisher at 81 years old. I hope that that's still the record to beat in almost 50 years from now, but who knows? So I have to then ask myself, what is a meaningful 10-year chunk of that? 10 to 25%. Well, maybe by 45, which is 10 years for me, I've completed a standard triathlon, maybe even a half Ironman. I've built the endurance and mental resilience to continue my training and continue compounding my results. That might only be 20% of the full vision, but it's substantial progress that will skyrocket me up. Okay? Another legacy goal is owning 200 investment properties. Now this one's easy to divide because there's a real number there, right? So 10% of that would be 20 properties, right? So maybe I own 20 in 10 years. And then to break that down more, maybe I own 4 in the next 5 years. Each property is going to teach me something. Each one is going to build credibility. Each one is going to produce income for the next. So I can know that the second decade will grow much faster than the first. That's the power of thinking in chunks, not perfection, not the finish line, just steady, meaningful progress. So when you fill out your 10-year row today, you're not going to pressure yourself to try to accomplish the entire dream. You're going to ask yourself, what would a solid, meaningful chunk look like? What's 10%? What is a 10% step toward this legacy goal? And something to remember, whatever you think you're capable of in 10 years, if you stay intentional, if you stay consistent and aligned with your bigger vision, chances are you're probably underestimating yourself. If you keep working toward that 10-year goal, you are likely to surpass it in much less time. One more thing to remember, and I keep saying this throughout the whole thing, goals are not carved in stone, and long-term goals are no different. So don't get stuck trying to get your goal perfect on paper, okay? Life changes, you grow, opportunities shift, and God redirects. We're actually going to have a whole lesson in a few weeks about reevaluating and adjusting your goals wisely. So don't feel pressure to get this perfect today, okay? This is version 1.0 of our goal map. Courtney, you okay there? All right. Do you guys remember back like lesson 5, I think it was? Maybe earlier? Habakkuk 2:2.
Huh?
Habakkuk, book in the Bible.
Had to cook.
Habakkuk.
I always thought it was exactly.
Some people pronounce it Habakkuk. All right. It was our anchor verse for our lesson in the importance of writing things down. I think it was with the fruit of goodness, I believe.
All right, we started out doing fruits.
Yes. It's about what God says about long-term vision. Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. Then verse 3 goes on to say, for still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. Hastens means hurry. And it will not lie. Okay, we can see 3 things very clearly from this passage. Number 1, write it down. Make it plain. That's what you're doing with your goal map. You're writing out the vision for your life so that you can run with it. Number 2, it has an appointed time, not your time. Okay? Sometimes God's time is different than ours. That's why we aren't aiming for perfection in our time estimates here. Your 5-year goal might actually take 7 or 8 years to complete. Your 3-year goal might happen in 1 or 2. Trust God's timing. And then 3, you can see that we need to wait for it. It certainly will come. Even when it feels like it's taking forever. Even when it lingers. If God gave you the vision, it will happen. Don't give up. Keep working toward it. Now Ecclesiastes 7:8 tells us that the end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. Pretty self-explanatory, huh? The end is better than the beginning. The finished product is going to be better than the first prototype. The harvest is going to be better than the planting. But in order to get there, you need patience and perseverance to get you through. Patience. We all remember that fruit, right? So, almost everyone put that as their fruit. Yep. So, when you set these long-term goals today, remember, God sees the end already. He knows the appointed time. You are just taking a guess to get that general aim started. Your job is to be faithful with today, what He's given you in your vision, and trust Him with tomorrow. And be patient enough to see it through. All right, so it's time to get practical. Pull out your journals and your goal maps instead of trying to put them away. First, we're going to celebrate what you've already accomplished. A couple of you have mentioned in the past few weeks, noticing that quite a few of those Be Do Have list items have gotten accomplished already. Good morning, Jocelyn. And that is what inspired me to include this section of today's lesson. Even though we will talk more about this in a future lesson, before we look ahead, I want you to look back just for a minute, not with regret, but with gratitude. Open to a new page in your journal and write this at the top. Things I've already accomplished that I am proud of. Do you have your journal? Oh, good, cool. That's the planner. Do you have your black and white journal?
Yeah.
No? Okay. All right, so you're going to have to just think on it. Right now in class, I want you guys to list 5 things. They can be big or small. They can be from last week or the last 10 years. Just think about things that you have done, you've accomplished, that you are genuinely proud of yourself for. For me, I wrote this list right when I was at this point in making the lesson. This list includes last year's Spartan trifecta. I'm so proud of that. It was years in the making. This year's quick progress on my newest business, The Faithful Mompreneur. I'm feeling very guided and very, very in line with God's vision in this. So it's happening fast. Number 3, yes, new page. You're supposed to write things I've already accomplished that I'm proud of.
Do they have to be something I wrote down?
No. No, just anything you can think of. It might be part of your Be Do Have lists, if they're things that you've accomplished since writing those lists.
Yeah.
But it could be completing last year's big Spartan Beast. That could be one thing that you should be proud of, definitely.
I am.
My third one on my list was half a lifetime ago. I graduated early, 16 years old, with extremely high scores on my GED. That's something that I've always felt really proud of myself for because I basically homeschooled myself. Number 4 is becoming a good wife to an amazing husband. That's something I wasn't ever sure that I'd be able to do after being raised by a mother who was divorced 3 times. So I'm proud of that. And number 5 on my list is breaking out of that victimhood mindset that I grew up with. I would not be half the person I am today if I still clung on to that victim mentality that my mother raised me with. So those are my examples. Some of y'all's examples might include, I learned to drive, got my driver's license. I made that team that I've been trying for. I passed that really hard class. I stood up for someone who needed it. I overcame a fear. I kept a commitment when it was hard. I helped someone in need. I grew in my faith. I learned a new language or an instrument. Or maybe you just didn't give up when you really wanted to. So you guys take a couple more minutes and write down your 5 things, and then sit your pencil down so that I know when most of everybody is done. This is important because it reminds you that you're already a goal achiever. You've already done hard things. And if you did it before, you can do it again, and again, and again, and again. All right, I want you guys to continually add to this list from time to time. When you realize you did something that you are proud of, put it on this list. Whether it's something you think of that was 10 years ago, or you actually accomplished something on your goal list, write it on this. It's gonna add up over time, and you're gonna realize that you can do amazing things. It's gonna help you remember what you are capable of. That's sometimes hard to remember when we're in the hard parts. When we're in the thick of life, sometimes it's hard to remember that we can get through hard stuff, that we can do hard things. All right, is there anyone who would like to share any of their 5? things
I'm
that
down
they're
with
proud
one.
of? Okay.
I can't think of anything big I accomplished last year.
Doesn't have to be big. That was the first thing I said, big or small.
Sure, I'll share. Well, I finally finished writing a book. That was something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, since I was little. I joined theater a few years ago and got to be in my first big musical show. That was pretty fun. Last year, completed a college class
Nice.
in high school. Got a job year and a half ago, and then got promoted after.
Right. There you go. Job
And
promotions.
last year, I went on my first real roller coaster.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
Not fun. Why'd you make us go in the very front seat? And it's the
You
seat
didn't have to
spin.
go. You didn't have to go.
Front's better than the back.
I
The
prefer
back
middle.
is so whippy.
You whip around.
I prefer being in the middle.
Look up
because-
Time Traveler on YouTube.
Okay. I will do that.
Yeah, just remember, we were in the front.
One of
Because someone
my
wants-
one of my things was learning to laugh at myself.
Nice. That definitely helps in life. Oh man, that makes so much easier.
Not everyone gets along with humor.
Exactly. And it's okay as long as you get it.
I just realized your skate is almost the same shape as the wall. It took me a second. I had double take. I was like, wait a minute. Where is he?
Camouflage.
Is he leaving?
There's a
Mine's
pile
all
of
white.
clothes leaning up against the wall.
All right. Now I want you guys to look at your goal map, and I want you to find your rows that say in the next 10 years and in the next 5 years. They're the next two rows. Your job right now is to identify at least one 10-year goal and one 5-year goal for at least 3 of your life areas. So that's 6 goals in total that I want you to add to the life goal map. Although the end goal of this assignment in a few weeks is to have pretty much one thing in at least every single box, here in class, I'm only asking you to identify 3 areas of life, 10-year and 5-year goals. Okay? So you can think about things like in your faith, what do you want your relationship with God to look like in 5 or 10 years? Maybe lead a small group. Maybe go on a mission trip.
Stop reading my paper.
I love that. I love that. Memorize an entire chapter of the Bible? Okay, that's on mine.
The entire chapter memorized.
It's like playing
I'm
pizza.
gonna stick with, I'm gonna start with the shortest chapter of the Bible. It's like 13 verses.
That sounds terrifying.
Start with the shortest book.
Memorize
It's,
these
What is the shortest book?
it's Obadiah, isn't it?
Obadiah or, no, yeah, Obadiah,
I'm
because
pretty sure.
it doesn't even have chapters.
Yeah,
It just
it's
has
like
verses.
one page.
So it's just one
1 to 2
chapter.
pages.
And then
Memorize
there's,
Obadiah.
yeah, there you go. Obadiah is full of very interesting wisdoms too, by the way. If nobody's intentionally just read Obadiah before, which it's one of those books that a lot of people don't even know is a book in the Bible because they're like, what is that
Yeah,
word? That's a strange word.
Minor prophets.
I have a Bible that was identical to that Bible
You do.
on my shelf.
All right, what about with family? What family goals do you have? Maybe you want to have a strong relationship with your siblings even after you move out. Maybe you want to become someone that your younger cousins look up to, which some of us already are. I don't want to know what that means. All right, so what about fitness? Where are you wanting to be physically in your fitness?
Oh yeah.
Maybe you want to run a half a marathon.
I really just
I already
want,
did that.
I just want to
Run.
Oh.
I really just want to stay fit into my
I'm not
30s
doing
and
that.
40s.
There you go. Why only your 30s and 40s? You gonna get fat after 40?
No, I'm just saying I want to continue there because I know there's a lot of people.
I
A
wanna
lot of people
the long
don't
way
stay
Yeah.
there.
I
I
know.
want to
It's
stay
like
fit my
single
entire
people,
life.
All my brothers in a wrestling match at once.
Nice.
That's not gonna happen.
Nice.
That's not happening. You can't
Hey,
even beat
hey,
them.
don't shoot down his
You want to
dreams.
hear my 2-year fitness
You're gonna
goal?
get fat
Be
at
able to
40, then he'll
confidently
take you
say I'm
down.
stronger than Will.
Do what?
My 2-year fitness goal. Be able to confidently say I'm stronger than Will.
You
Nice.
can't say that right now.
2 years.
That's what he's saying. He can't say it right now.
Say it right now.
Confidently.
2 years.
Hear that keyword.
Or
Good
less.
job on using a descriptive word, by the way. Confidently say. My overachievers over here with their goal maps
I'm
already all
getting- I'm
filled
like
out.
Too close to the crossbar. I'm a little too close to the crossbar.
You will only be able to do it on my deathbed.
All right, what about
Yes, you're doing it.
finances?
I'm taking care of
What about finances? You're taking care of that?
that. This is being This is being good.
So maybe in the next 5 years, you want to be able to save $10,000. Hopefully more than
the
that.
next 5 years. Keep
Hey,
talking.
you guys can like fuel each other, right?
Maybe you want to pay for your college without debt. Maybe you want to start investing
I don't wanna pay
or start a
cash.
business.
Exactly.
What experiences do you want? Because fun is one of those categories that gets forgotten about, like you saw on my goal map.
200 skydive.
Nice.
Ooh, Sarah.
I'm not
Let's get
scared.
here.
Yes.
I hate
There you go. You have a skydive, buddy.
No one else wants to do it. My mom said she might do it once.
I said I will do the pretend one.
So you
Don't
might
ask
do it
that
once.
question. There are a lot. I know a lot of people who willingly jump out. of
My
planes.
plane would have to be on fire for me to jump out of it.
Yes.
And
I
even
imagine
then,
crashing.
I might crash because I might just be like, nope, can't do it.
Somebody's gonna have to push me out.
Yes, somebody would have to push me. My dad went skydiving last year,
He is.
and he was like, I loved it.
How old is he?
How old am I? He is 60. He's almost 60.
And he did.
And he skydived, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's just I don't know why. Like when you hear like people who are older doing all these crazy things like bungee jumping and all that, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's because they're like, I've lived this long. I don't know what's wrong.
It's okay if I die now.
But I've done everything I want to do.
He has always been a workaholic, so he's realizing now that if he doesn't experience life soon, he never will. So he's like doing all these trips and
It doesn't
seeing
mean
his
he's
Isn't
not
family.
out of
And,
it.
skin cancer what snapped him out of that?
yeah, he had cancer on his nose. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shit is
Well, one day I hope
He
you get the chance.
had to go into surgery for it.
right. Oh, that's such a good song. That's such a good song.
What?
Live like you were dying. Rocky Mountain climbing. I will go Rocky Mountain climbing. That is on my list.
Well,
All right.
Sadly, our
I'll do
rock
indoor
is burnt
skydiving.
down.
I won't do outdoor
That's
skydiving.
what we were talking about the other day. Apparently, they have a whole VR experience now that you can do that makes you literally feel like you are
We went to
falling.
an actual.
and
what
you
was the
see
name of
it.
the place?
That's why.
I fly.
Right.
Yeah, we went
That's that I know I want to do
there.
with
Yeah,
you.
It's fun.
But they have this whole like visual experience too. And he was like, maybe I can trick you into thinking you're putting on a VR headset, and then I load you up into a real plane.
Oh,
I'm like, you know what? I might be able to jump out of the plane then if I think it's fake. All right, so what about learning an
These graphics are
instrument
so real.
or traveling to 3 new countries?
I think it actually feels good.
Nice. And then what about fulfillment? That's one of those kind of abstract thoughts that we don't always think through, but what do you want to really accomplish that means something? Maybe becoming a professor, maybe getting certified in a rare trade, maybe writing a book,
Well, I'd like to turn into
or a
more than
series.
that. I mean, hey, I'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to turn into a TV show one day.
There you go.
It's gonna take a long time. but-
So you don't want to overthink it, but pull from your be, do, and have lists, if you have enough, and
Do you have enough?
look over your current listed legacy goals and think about the 10 to 25% rule. Okay? What does 10% of that legacy look like? These should be a little less vague when you're writing these out than your legacy goals were. A bit more measurable, but they're still quite far out, so it doesn't have to be super specific. Remember, these don't have to be perfect because you're going to adjust them from time to time. So if you haven't already, go ahead and write in at least those 6 goals into your goal map. 3 in the 5-year row and 3 in the 10-year row. So hopefully you guys can all look at your goal map now and see that you have at least 3 legacy goals in the top row. And now at least 3 long-term goals in the 10-year row and at least 3 long-term goals in the 5-year row. And if not, that's okay, because that's homework this week. Okay? You're building your blueprint layer by layer. Real progress. You're doing something that most adults never do. Remember this, you guys. It will help you feel better about all of the dragging on, repetitive work that this class is. You are designing your future instead of just letting it happen to you, like most people do. Okay, don't let the regret of your past or the routine of your present hold you down. Let the pull of your future, these goals that you're setting, pull you forward into everything that God has for you. Remember that the Bible tells us that there is an appointed time, and it will come. So be faithful, be patient, and keep building forward. For your homework this week, it's an easy one. I want you guys to, number one, continue using your planners. Continue using your planners.
Continue?
For those of you who know very well that you have not been doing it as well as you could,
As I could.
please set yourself a personal goal to use it just a little bit better this week. Small improvements, okay?
He's gonna write one more word.
No one more letter, dear man.
Half a letter.
Ah, the dot of the
Don't give him
I.
ideas.
Except I write the dot as a little word. So it'll be
Right.
a line, not a dot.
Half a
Next is to fill in a few more goals on your goal map. If this applies to you and you haven't already filled in your whole goal map,
After there.
Huh?
pray on where you want to go in life. Who you want to be, who you want to, who
I have
you,
to fill the entire thing in?
no, a few more. Listen to my words closely. What do you want to do and have? Write these goals in your goal map accordingly. Aim for 4 or more by next Monday in each of the legacy row, the 10-year row, and the 5-year row. Her masterpiece. All right. Optional bonus homework for those of you who want it. In your journal, ask yourself 2 questions and answer them thoughtfully. Number 1, what would my life look like in 10 years from now if I had no long-term goals?
What
And
if I
then-
didn't do what I wanted to do in my life?
And then question number 2, what would it look like if I stayed intentional with my goals for 10 years? So basically it's mirror thinking. You're thinking about 2 completely opposite ends of the spectrum of your goals. So what would it look like if I did nothing toward my goals, and what would it look like if I stayed consistent toward all of my goals?
So this is the bonus work.
Those are the bonus questions, yes. It's just for those of who want to go a little deeper and dig a little introspectively and get more out of the class.
That's so rude, okay?
It's true.
I'm just kind of tired right now, okay?
All right, and that's it. Make sure that your goal map is back in your folder and back in your backpack next week, along with your journal and your planner.